it's Fabio again, and here we are with the last part of this walkthrough video for the Synchron World Percussion. So we take a super quick flight to West Africa, and once again we start playing one of the ensemble MIDI loops provided with this collection. And trust me, especially for West Africa, having MIDI loops is really useful. I remember conducting a recording session myself with an African percussionist, and the complexity of the rhythms when starting layering drums was beyond expectations and anything I can describe in words. That loop really takes me back to that recording session I just mentioned. So, as usual, we start digging in, checking out each single instrument available. We start with this patch that contains the djembe and the sabar set. Your mod wheel controls the dynamic of these rolls. The second patch contains the low djembe and the high djembe. I'm gonna spare you from another live performance of mine checking out one of the loops included for that instrument. Let's get this 8-bar loop, originally performed at 130 BPM, and it's a 3/4 as you can see. With this velocity knob we can preview the loop at different dynamic, and with the key info window we can actually see what is going on with the performance. Both the low and high djembe have been sampled with the castings on as well. As you may know, castings are an accessory attached on the edge of the djembe, and it offers an additional rattle when the player hits the instrument. And now the high djembe, starting without the castings on. Let's add some more meat and room to this sound with the tube and the high surround. I told you it's really fun to play. Now with the castings. Let's go for a drier sound now. I think the djembe is also the right instrument to check out the difference provided by the 3 different closed mics. We have a condenser, a tube, and a dynamic mic. Turn off the compressor so that we can appreciate the raw sound of the recording. Here is the condenser. You will hear how the sound really changes with the tube mic. And here is the sound and transients with the dynamic one. Once again, the 3 mics. course, you can use them separately or combine them, and together with the mid position, you get a very good representation of the instrument. And now the sabar drums, an instrument that sounds quite muffled when played with the hand, but it can be very sharp when played with a stick. You find two sabars, a bass one and the sabar solo. Of course, we find the talking drums, another instrument worth checking with a loop. This time, as a change, we drag and drop the loop directly inside our sequencer. And again, using the key info window, we can have a good understanding on how to develop an idiomatic playing with this instrument. Once again, I will play around with the microphones while the loop is running. That was the medium talking drum, and now we play the small talking drum. We move to the dum dum, an instrument played with thick mallets, and as for this one sampled by VSL, often consists in a set of 3 drums. As I mentioned in a previous part of this walkthrough, I quite enjoy turning off all the possible EQ and compressor you find within these presets to really appreciate the raw sound sampled by VSL. When you do so, you may want to increase the level of your master fader. It's worth mentioning you have a set of 3 mics for each one of the 3 drums completing the set. It goes without saying that with these features, you can always find a way to blend this instrument in any of your arrangement. We move now to the shekere. Let's see what I can do myself. Now, an instrument very well diffused both in West Africa and in Brazil. That's why we already featured it in a previous walkthrough. But let's have another listen to this beautiful kashishi. Remember, you can easily preview half or double the speed. I'm in love with the next one, the bell straps. Check out these slows and fast repetitions. And we conclude with the beautiful warm wooden sound of the cabalonga. Absolutely stunning. This concludes our long journey around the world with the synchron world percussion. For me, it's been a wonderful journey where I learned so much about new instruments as well, and I'm so happy to have this collection in my arsenal from now on. I really hope you enjoyed as well. Thanks so much for watching and see you soon.